It has Europe's only surviving laurel forest, the oldest demarcated wine region, and the western edge of the continent where ancient explorers once set sail in search of the New World. This tiny country, roughly the size of Indiana, will surprise you with its diverse ecosystems. From volcanic peaks to glacial valleys to some of Europe's last untouched shorelines. So stay with us as we explore the amazing natural wonders of Portugal. Pico Mountain. This mountaintop is the highest point in Portugal. Rising 2,351 meters above sea level, Pico Mountain dominates Pico Island in the Azores and is the tallest peak in the entire mid-Atlantic ridge. This stratovolcano, last erupting in 1720, is part of a chain of volcanic islands formed by tectonic activity deep beneath the ocean floor. The climb to Pico's summit is both physically demanding and incredibly rewarding. Along the trail, hikers ascend through layers of ancient lava flows, volcanic caves, and alien-like rock formations before reaching the final crater, Pequeno, which still emits faint volcanic gases. The mountain plays a central role in Azorean culture and identity, visible from neighboring islands and often wreathed in clouds. But Pico is also tied to centuries of human effort. Its lower slopes are lined with UNESCO-listed lava rock vineyards, the Paisagem de Cultura de Vinha de Ilha do Pico, where grapes grow in dark basalt-walled plots that protect them from wind and salt. These vineyards produce a unique fortified wine known for its mineral character. Beneath the surface, lava tubes like Gruta das Torres, the longest in Portugal, offer a subterranean look at the island's volcanic anatomy. Climbing Pico isn't just a hike. It's a vertical journey through geology, agriculture, and cultural endurance in one of Portugal's most awe-inspiring natural landmarks. Peneda-Gerês National Park. Portugal has only one national park, and it's a wild, mountainous region where wolves still roam and ancient Roman roads remain intact. Peneda-Gerês National Park, established in 1971 in the far north near the Spanish border, is a sanctuary of biodiversity, traditional villages, and millennia of human history. The park spans over 700 square kilometers and includes 4 major mountain ranges: Serra de Peneda, Serra do Suajo, Serra Amarela, and Serra do Gerês. One of its most fascinating features is the Gaira, a remarkably well-preserved Roman road that once linked Braga to Astorga in Spain, complete with stone mile markers still standing after 2,000 years. The park is also home to endangered species such as the Iberian wolf and Guarano ponies, as well as rare flora like the Gerês lily. The area safeguards traditional communities where granaries stand on stilts and farming is still done by hand. It's also dotted with ancient sanctuaries and pilgrimage routes, like the sanctuary of Nossa Senhora de Peneda, perched against a granite cliff. From waterfalls and glacial valleys to ancient oak forests and prehistoric dolmens, Peneda-Gerês is a multidisciplinary classroom, blending ecology, archaeology, and anthropology in one vast, living museum. Serra da Estrela Natural Park. This is the park to explore if you want to visit Portugal's rooftop. The Serra da Estrela Natural Park, home to the country's highest mainland peak at 1,993 meters, is a landscape of contrasts: rugged granite peaks, glacial valleys, pristine lakes, and remote mountain villages. It was established in 1976 and remains the largest protected area in Portugal, covering more than 100,000 hectares. This park is geologically unique, shaped by glacial activity during the last ice age, with features like the Zizura Valley, a textbook example of a U-shaped glacial valley. It's not just about the landforms. Serra da Estrela is famous for producing the country's most iconic cheese, Queijo de Serra, a rich, buttery sheep's milk cheese protected under DOP, Denomination of Protected Origin. The area is also home to centuries-old shepherding traditions, and you'll often spot flocks of Bordalera sheep being guided through alpine meadows. In winter, Serra da Estrela becomes Portugal's only ski resort, while in summer, it draws hikers and nature lovers to its high-altitude trails, wildflowers, and icy river pools. Visiting Serra da Estrela is more than a scenic escape. It's a deep dive into geology, climate science, traditional agriculture, and mountain culture. Sete Cidades. According to the local legend, that a king's daughter and a shepherd's forbidden love created these two volcanic lakes of different colors. And that's just one reason why Sete Cidades, on São Miguel Island in the Azores, captures the imagination. Scientifically, this caldera is the result of massive volcanic eruptions that occurred thousands of years ago, forming a collapsed crater over 5 kilometers wide and nearly 400 meters deep. At its heart lie two twin lakes, Lagoa Azul, Blue Lake, and Lagoa Verde, Green Lake. Separated by a narrow bridge but colored differently due to light reflection and varying aquatic vegetation. This natural wonder sits within one of Portugal's most geologically active zones, part of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Sete Cidades remains dormant today, but the surrounding volcanic soil creates lush landscapes of hydrangeas, cedar forests, and steep crater walls. The area is protected within the Natura 2000 network for its biodiversity and serves as a vital freshwater source for the island. Beyond its natural beauty, the town of Sete Cidades within the caldera retains strong rural traditions, including dairy farming and folklore. Hiking trails around the rim offer panoramic views that attract geologists, ecotourists, and photographers alike. Laurisilva Forest. What if you could step into a forest that dates back to the time of the dinosaurs? The Laurisilva Forest of Madeira is exactly that, a living relic of the ancient laurel forests that once blanketed much of southern Europe and North Africa during the Tertiary period, over 20 million years ago. Today, this unique subtropical forest survives in just a few places, and Madeira's Laurisilva is by far the largest and best preserved. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1999, it spans about 15,000 hectares, roughly 20% of the island, and is home to a rare and delicate ecosystem that thrives in the island's mountainous cloud belt. The forest is dominated by evergreen, broadleaf tree species like Laurus novocanariensis, Ocodia fotens, and Persea indica, many of which are endemic. Mosses, lichens, and ferns drape every surface, fed by the constant mist and moisture that make this forest feel more enchanted than real. But Laurisilva isn't just a green marvel. It's also a vital water source. Its dense vegetation acts like a sponge, absorbing humidity and feeding Madeira's intricate levada system, hand-dug irrigation channels that date back to the 15th century and still supply water to farms and communities today. The forest also supports rare fauna, such as the endangered Madeira long-toed pigeon, a bird found nowhere else on Earth. Hike through its winding trails, and you're walking through living prehistory, a place where ecology, evolution, and human ingenuity have been intertwined for centuries. Douro Valley. Did you know that the world's oldest demarcated wine region isn't in France or Italy, but in northern Portugal? The Douro Valley, recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, is the birthplace of port wine and a landscape sculpted by centuries of human hands. Terraced vineyards stretch across steep hillsides, tracing the path of the Douro River as it meanders from Spain to Porto. In 1756, the Marquis of Pombal established the Douro as the first officially regulated wine region in the world, setting a precedent for wine classification globally. But beyond wine, the region tells a story of rural resilience, with wine estates passed down through generations and harvesting still done by hand in many places. The valley's microclimates make it ideal for growing a variety of grapes, not just for port, but increasingly for high-quality table wines. River cruises, train journeys, and scenic drives make it a magnet for educational tourism, blending agriculture, archaeology, and aesthetics. Every autumn, you can witness the traditional grape stomping festivals, a joyful celebration of Portugal's agricultural roots and its enduring connection to the land. Furnas Valley. Can you imagine cooking your lunch using the Earth's own steam vents? In Furnas Valley, on the eastern side of São Miguel Island in the Azores, geothermal activity isn't just a tourist attraction, it's a way of life. This lush, Volcanic Valley is one of the most active geothermal zones in Portugal, home to hot springs, boiling mud pools, fumaroles, and the famous Cozido das Furnas, a traditional stew slow-cooked underground for hours using natural volcanic heat. Historically, Furnas was studied by 19th-century scientists intrigued by its mineral-rich waters, which were believed to have healing properties. Today, visitors still flock to bathe in the iron-colored thermal pools at Terra Nostra Garden, a botanical park that dates back to the 18th century and hosts thousands of exotic plant species. The valley also holds two crater lakes, Lagoa das Furnas and Lagoa Seca. Near the lake, the white neo-Gothic chapel of Nossa Senhora das Vitórias stands as a romantic ruin built by a grieving widower in the late 1800s. Geothermal vents line the lake's edge, bubbling away as locals prepare meals in buried pots. Furnas is a rare case where nature, gastronomy, science, and local heritage all converge in one steaming, green, and endlessly fascinating landscape. Ponta da Piedade. This coastline sculpted by centuries of wind and waves into a natural labyrinth. Located just outside Lagos in the Algarve region, Ponta da Piedade, a stunning maze of limestone cliffs, sea arches, grottos, and rock pillars rising up to 20 meters above crystal-clear waters. The name means Point of Mercy, and the location has long served as a natural landmark for sailors navigating the southern coast of Portugal. What makes Ponta da Piedade particularly fascinating is its geological formation. The cliffs are composed of golden-colored sedimentary rock, eroded over millennia to form intricate patterns and caverns that can be explored by boat, kayak, or on foot from above. Historically, the area around Lagos was a key departure point during the Age of Discoveries, and while Ponta da Piedade itself wasn't a shipyard, it framed the backdrop of maritime history. Today, the site is a hotspot for ecotourism and marine photography, with its abundant birdlife and dramatic lighting conditions at sunrise and sunset. Atop the cliffs stands a 20th-century lighthouse, still active, guiding vessels and adding to the location's charm. Benagil Sea Caves. Located on the Algarve coast near the fishing village of Benagil, the Benagil Sea Caves are among Portugal's most iconic natural wonders, and one of the most photographed sea caves in the world. What makes this cave so striking is the giant natural skylight at the top, often called the Eye, which floods the cavern with golden light and reveals the intricate erosion patterns on its sandstone walls. These formations were shaped over millions of years by the relentless pounding of Atlantic waves and seasonal wind. While the cave is only accessible by water, usually via kayak, paddleboard, or small boat, that's part of its appeal. Inside, the acoustics amplify the sound of the ocean, creating an almost spiritual atmosphere. Unlike many sea caves that are dark and narrow, Benagil opens into a wide, sandy interior that feels more like a secret beach than a cavern. The cave is a living timeline of natural forces at work. Cabo da Roca. This is the place to go if you want to stand on the edge of Europe. This dramatic cape marks the westernmost point of mainland Europe, a fact proudly inscribed on a stone monument on site. Cabo da Roca, with wind-whipped cliffs plunging into the Atlantic and a lighthouse that has guided ships since 1772. Historically, this headland was known to ancient geographers and explorers, and during the Age of Discovery, it symbolized the last piece of land seen by sailors heading into the unknown. The 140-meter high cliffs offer panoramic views of the ocean, often shrouded in mist, adding to the sense of mystery and awe. Cabo da Roca is part of the Sintra-Cascais Natural Park, making it not just a geographic landmark but also a protected ecological zone, home to wildflowers like the rare Armeria pseudo-armeria that thrive only in this salty, windswept environment. Its poetic significance was also captured by Portuguese poet Luís de Camões, who described it as where the land ends and the sea begins. Though easily accessible by road, the Cape still feels like an end-of-the-earth kind of place. Southwest Alentejo and Vicentine Coast Natural Park. This coastline lets you walk along a coastline that looks almost the same as it did 500 years ago. The Southwest Alentejo and Vicentine Coast Natural Park, stretching from Porto Covo in the Alentejo to Burgo in the Algarve, is one of Europe's last wild coastal frontiers. This protected area, established in 1988, covers more than 100 kilometers of Atlantic shoreline and includes dramatic sea cliffs, secluded beaches, fossil-rich rock layers, and rare dune ecosystems. It's home to some of Portugal's most endangered species, including the Iberian lynx, the Benelli's eagle, and the white stork, the only population in the world known to nest on sea stacks. The park is also a stronghold for endemic plants like Plantago almagravensis, which grow nowhere else on Earth. Human history here is just as rich. Prehistoric shell middens, Moorish watchtowers, and fishing villages like Zambushira do Mar and Odsesh tell a story of coastal resilience. Traditional agriculture and sustainable fishing still thrive, guided by conservation-friendly rules. Surf culture has also taken root, especially near Arifana and Karapathira, drawing a new generation of eco-conscious travelers. Because of its fragile ecosystems and geological value, parts of the park are designated as Natura 2000 sites. This coast isn't just scenic. It's an outdoor lab for studying erosion, biodiversity, and sustainable living. Few places in Europe combine wild beauty, ancient traditions, and strict environmental protection so seamlessly. Berlengas Archipelago. This remote archipelago, just off the coast of Peniche, is not only a natural wonder, but also a site steeped in dramatic history. This small group of islands in the Atlantic Ocean, dominated by the main island Berlengas Grande, has been a strategic outpost for centuries. In the 17th century, it housed the São João Baptista Fort, built by monks to protect the coastline from Barbary pirates. Today, its dramatic ruins still cling to the rocks, surrounded by turquoise waters. The islands are also a designated UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, home to rare seabirds like the Cory's shearwater and unique plant species that exist nowhere else. Accessible only by boat and with strict visitor limits, the Berlengas offer a glimpse of wild Portugal rarely seen by tourists. Besides the fort, you can explore sea caves and tunnels formed by erosion, such as the Gruta Azul, Blue Cave, or snorkel in the clear waters teeming with marine life. It's a mix of untouched natural beauty and layered human history, an open-air classroom in ecology and maritime defense. Rio Formosa Natural Park. There's a Portuguese coastal lagoon system that shifts shape with every tide and storm. The Rio Formosa Natural Park, located along the Algarve coast, is a dynamic, living ecosystem made up of barrier islands, salt marshes, tidal flats, and lagoons that span over 18,000 hectares. Formerly protected since 1987, this park is a biodiversity hotspot and a key stopover for thousands of migratory birds traveling between Europe and Africa. It's one of the few places in the world where you can spot the rare purple swamp hen, a vibrant blue wetland bird, and it's also home to seahorses, flamingos, and the endangered chameleon, which survives in the park's sandy pine forests. The Rio Formosa is vital not just for wildlife, but also for traditional industries like salt harvesting, fishing, and shellfish farming. Towns like Alhio and Tavira have relied on its resources for centuries, and you can still see workers raking salt by hand or collecting clams in the tidal shallows. The barrier islands, including Ilha de Quilatra, Ilha Deserta, and Ilha de Armona, protect the mainland from ocean storms and are accessible by ferry, offering pristine beaches and car-free communities. The park also contains archaeological sites from Roman times, like the ruins of a fish salting factory at Estoy. This park is more than a natural park. It's a vibrant, living system where ecology, tradition, and adaptation flow together like the tides. Arrábida Natural Park. This is a park you can find Mediterranean-like cliffs, turquoise waters, and rare chalky limestone mountains, just 40 minutes from Lisbon. Arrábida Natural Park, established in 1976, protects a unique slice of southern Portugal where geology, climate, and history collide. Nestled between the towns of Setúbal and Sesimbra, the park's Serra de Arrábida range features rare karst formations, caves, and marine fossils dating back over 100 million years. Because of its microclimate, influenced by both the Atlantic and Mediterranean, the park supports Mediterranean maquis vegetation and rare endemic plants like Euphorbia pedroi. The cliffs are a haven for nesting peregrine falcons and bats, and the surrounding waters form part of a protected marine reserve, rich in biodiversity. Historically, this area was home to monastic retreats like the Convent of Our Lady of Arrábida, founded in the 16th century by Franciscan monks seeking solitude in nature. The region's limestone caves have also yielded archaeological finds, including prehistoric human remains and Neolithic tools. Today, hiking trails, scenic roads, and beaches offer access to this ecological treasure. Wine culture is another draw. The nearby Azedo region is known for its muscatel wine and creamy sheep's milk cheese. Arouca Geopark. Located in northern Portugal, Arouca Geopark is full of record-breaking features. Certified by UNESCO as a global geopark since 2009, Arouca is a geological goldmine. Its most famous landmark is the Fiva Walkways, an 8-kilometer wooden trail hugging steep cliffs along the Fiva River, ending near the 516 Arouca Bridge, one of the longest pedestrian suspension bridges in the world. But the real marvels are the park's geosites. Over 40 spots that tell the Earth's story across hundreds of millions of years. This includes the iconic Pedras Farideiras, also known as birthing stones, where rare granite formations actually release smaller stones from within, a phenomenon seen in very few places globally. Fossils in the region show evidence of ancient marine life from when Portugal was covered by ocean, and the area is dotted with trilobite remains from the lower Paleozoic era. Arouca is also steeped in culture. Its traditional slate villages, religious sanctuaries, and monasteries reflect a deep historical continuity. The park actively involves local schools and visitors in geology education, using its dramatic landscapes to teach about plate tectonics, sedimentation, and environmental preservation. Whether you're hiking, studying, or simply looking for awe-inspiring views, Arouca Geopark is where science and adventure walk side by side. So here comes to the end. Thanks for exploring with us. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment sharing your favorite place or one you're adding to your travel list. Until next time, happy travels.